Today I'm going to save some money and pull out my transmission out of my Infiniti G20. So stay tuned. If you guys are tackling this yourself in your driveway, trust me, it's not that bad. It's actually fairly simple. I promise you that. Okay, let's jump right in. First thing we're doing is we are popping the hood, of course, and we're going to take the intake off, the intake box, and the air filter. We're going to take that completely out because it's covering up the transmission, along with taking the battery out and the battery tray. Disconnecting the speed sensor, and we're going to be moving all of the wiring harness that's going into the transmission. We need to take all of that and we need to move it on out of the way. Now that we have the wiring harness out of the way, we can start focusing in on those bell housing bolts that are 17 millimeters. We have some that are in the front that you can get to very easily. Then you're going to have the starter bolts, and yes, the starter and the transmission share the same bolts, by the way. And we have two bolts that are going to be sitting on the bottom under the cross member that are two 14 millimeter bolts, and you can't really see them, but I'm going to show you exactly where these are right now.
What you think, bud? Is it worth saving? What you think? All right, I think the same thing.
Do you guys want to learn a shortcut? I like shortcuts. Dealership mechanics have shortcuts, but they're not going to tell you guys that because they need to get the stuff done as fast as they can because that's how they make their money. But I'm going to show you a shortcut that I do on these Nissan/Infiniti cars. When I need to take an axle out, all you got to do is take the three nuts out of the strut tower, then the one long bolt for the upper control arm, then your tie rod here, take that off, and look, got all the access to taking that axle out. I didn't have to take the rotor off, I didn't have to take the brake caliper off, but I did have to take the clips to hold the hose in so we don't stretch that, because if we break that, we're pretty much screwed, and I'll be doing some brake work and bleeding the brakes and all this and that. So all we gotta do now is just take off the carrier bearing there, and then I'm gonna be able to take this axle on out of the transmission. So let's go ahead and actually I take that back. There's two 12 millimeter bolts that hold and sandwich these two pieces together, so I'm able to actually move the axle now. Now, I didn't feel like I really needed to explain this once more for the left side, because you're doing the same thing that you did to the right side to left side. You know, take your bolt out right here off the upper control arm, and then you can pull it back, and then you can actually pull the axle on out. And you can either leave it in there or you can pop it out. But if you pop it out of the transmission, guaranteed you're going to have something leaking on you. So if you can, just leave it in or drain the transmission one way or the other. But like I said, let's just go ahead and move on. Well guys, it's the next day, and I wanted to wait till the next day because I wanted to show you what this transmission is looking like. Right. You see all this? This is called clutch material. And it smells real bad. It smells like an electrical fire. That's how you know you got a bad clutch. But good thing is, our throwout bearing is actually working pretty good, so I'm not sure exactly. Must have been operator error on why this thing went out. But let's go take out a look at the pressure plate and all that. Well, yeah, I would say that clutch is pretty much screwed. And as you can see, oh yeah, and it's not supposed to do that. I guess we're just gonna have to replace the clutch. There's the pressure plate, and there's what's left of the clutch. Well, here's the good news. At least I know my transmission isn't messed up. It's just the clutch and the pressure plate. But unfortunately, I don't have the pressure plate or the clutch on me today. So we're going to have to place that on order, and we're going to have to catch you in episode number 2 on this Infiniti G20. And with that being said, we're just going to have to see you next time. Peace. But if you were looking at this video and only wanted to know how to pull out the transmission and the clutch, you're welcome. There you go. Now you just do what I just did in reverse, if that makes sense.